Hello and welcome to a special episode of Agenda Today. The Supreme Court today refused to stay the new nursery school admission guidelines, which means that if you're a parent looking for admission for your child this year, there's going to be no management quota in the schools. Children are going to be admitted based on a point basis system, which means that there's preference if they live within an 8-kilometer radius close to the schools, if they have siblings in the schools, if their parents are alumni, and if they are a transfer case. So, in a city when there are 4 times as many students as there are seats, are these new guidelines a boon or a curse for our parents? And how far will parents go to get their kids into school, to be one of the 4 in every students who get into school? Let's take a look at a report. The Lieutenant Governor's new nursery admission criteria has turned some parents' dreams into a nightmare. According to the new guidelines, children who live within an 8-kilometer radius of the school get a preference over others during admission. With a warped student-to-school ratio, a mad scramble for seats has already begun. And parents say desperate times call for desperate measures.
If I don't have an option, definitely I will have to relocate. I mean, that is the last thing that a parent could do. I would also like to give the best education to my child.
For some, it means if you can afford it, renting a house in a neighborhood with schools, or just faking residence proofs via bank statements or postal addresses.
But it's very clear, wherever the good schools are there, so in neighborhood, the rent charges have gone up.
And as rents go up, the middleman benefits.
ये क्राइटेरिया है तो इसलिए हम इसमें नंबर हमें मिलेंगे तो वो लोग इस एरिया को प्रेफर कर रहे हैं, पर्टिकुलर एरिया को. मैंने भी और मेरे साथियों ने भी ऐसे रेंट आउट की हैं अभी.
But even then, an admission is not guaranteed. Of the 200-odd private schools in the capital, many are exempt under various quota and minority provisions.
लेकिन जो रिजर्वेशंस हैं वो कुछ कैटेगरीज रिजर्वेशन से एग्जेम्प्ट हो गई हैं, जैसे कि आर्मी स्कूल्स हैं, नेवी स्कूल्स हैं, माइनॉरिटीज हैं, उन पे वो गाइडलाइंस लागू नहीं है.
Which means even if you live within 8 kilometers, the demand is so high that a lottery will decide your child's fate.
As the tussle continues between private schools and the government in courts, the private unaided schools have slammed the government's latest guidelines, calling them a mockery of the education system, saying that it reduces the admission process to mere luck based on lotteries.
No matter what admission system you make, this lottery system won't serve the purpose. It's a matter of demand and supply. Still the slot are the same 1.25 lakh or approximately, and application would be more than 3 lakh or 4 lakh. It was 4 lakh last year.
Activists and parent bodies admit that the solution is not merely asking private schools to open up their gates to everyone, but instead increasing the number of schools per neighborhood and improving the condition of government schools that are usually in a dismal state. With Bhairavi Singh in New Delhi, Ishita Bhaduri, NDTV.
So now we have in our studios today to discuss this, we do have some harried parents. We also have some parents who are happy with the guidelines. We have Ashoka Garwal, who's actually the person who filed the petition, who's responsible for making sure that these guidelines are in place today. So the Supreme Court upheld your petition really today. So for this year, you think this is a boon for parents or a curse?
It is a good news for all the children, not only for Delhi, but it is a good news for children all over the country, because it is a fight for the child right of equality. The 2 children should not be discriminated in the matter of admission. In fact, now it is almost a decade over. We have been fighting, and right from day, our case is that neighborhood and lottery, draw of lot, is the only justified method doing justice to the children. Of course, in the last 5-6 years, when Ganguly committee came and recommendations were made and schools were given a point system and discretion to make out the point, and also that management quota, I was not happy, but I was unable to do anything, because regulations were there. But fortunately, the right to education bill makers realized this problem, and in fact they incorporated a provision in the Right to Education Act saying that you cannot discriminate 2 children on any ground whatsoever in the matter of admission. Therefore, this LG guideline is by and large good, but I am not fully happy with it, because sibling and alumni should not be there. The only thing should be this distance and draw offload system. This is what flowing from right to education act. So still there is something to still to achieve.
All right. Let's get Amita Vatalin. You're the principal of Springdales, correct? Amita, Mr. Agarwal basically says no child should be discriminated against. And to be fair, when you're 3 years old, you're the same in the eyes of the Lord or the law. And when a 3-year-old comes to you for admission, he doesn't know the difference between skin color, caste, creed, rich or poor. It's the teachers who are looking at all of this in the background. One question I think parents would ask is, isn't the duty of a teacher to take a child, or a good teacher, to take a child who's perhaps lives in a construction site, whose parents don't take him abroad for holidays, so he doesn't know world geography, or he doesn't know history because, the Library of Celsius is in Turkey, or, the crown jewels are in London. A good teacher is able to take that student and make them go to IIT, or make them go to LSR or St. Stephen's. So why are you opposed to this?
I'm not opposed to this. So the point that I would like to make here is about the parameters, because unfortunately I think parents are not very clear as to what's going to happen. Because I've done a huge analysis of Delhi, and the way we look at it, we have 2,000 private schools in Delhi. Okay. Out of those 2,000 private schools, 1,017 are government schools, right? 917 are private schools. I'm going to talk about Central Delhi because that's where I'm located. In Central Delhi, the population is 6 lakhs in 8 kilometers. I've done it very thoroughly with every zone. It's 6 lakhs, right? And there are precisely 55 private schools because the government schools don't take in children at nursery. So when you're looking at age 3 to age 4, what are you going to see is you've got these 55 private schools because there are 117 single gender government schools. Nobody wants to have children in single gender schools anymore. In fact, the government should try to look at what they're doing about single gender schools. So what is going to happen? If you take in 1.7% of children of 6 lakhs, a minimum, you have 10,000 children. Even if every private school has 100 seats, even then the children don't get admission in those schools. So if parents think that by this 8 kilometer is going to become very easy, whereas South Delhi has 27 lakh people and it has a different kind of. So this capping the kilometer is not really is not really a very happy situation. And the other thing I'd like to quickly bring in is about the sibling. Because till last year, when school buses used to go to maybe 10 kilometers or 12 kilometers and the children were brought in, now their siblings are out.
Got it.
They're gone.
Got it. Okay.
Because they're not in that.
Okay. So first of all, we'd just like to tell all of our viewers that we're very happy today to have with us the Delhi Education Minister. Thank you for coming in this traffic without a lal batti. You still made it only 5 minutes late. So that's great.
Almost 1,500 meter walk.
Oh, you had to walk?
Yes, there was so much of traffic.
So let me give this to you so everybody can hear you nice and clear.
After 500 meter walk I came. I thought I should not be late in your program, but I got 5 minutes late.
We're grateful. Thank you so much. And also we also have with us
Madhu Tevatia, Additional Director Education.
Additional Director of Education. So sir, first of all, we started the show, we were talking to parents. I think basically just to bring you up to what everybody's been saying, private unaided schools are basically saying in a nutshell that the government has botched up the running of government schools, right? And now private schools are running better. Now you're starting to interfere with the running of private schools. And that is pulling wool over the eyes of the Aam Aadmi, giving them a false sense of security because this is a short-term solution. And over the long term, what this means is the quality of education will come down overall.
Thank you. मैं हिंदी में सोचता हूँ इसलिए
हाँ जी sir, please. We're in Delhi, so everybody will speak Hindi.
देखिए, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि हमारे गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स की हालत बहुत अच्छी नहीं है और लार्जर नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं वो गवर्नमेंट स्कूल पे पढ़ते हैं अच्छे नहीं हैं, इसीलिए एक नया सिस्टम बनाया गया कि प्राइवेट स्कूल्स हों, प्राइवेट स्कूल्स समाज की उस ज़रूरत को पूरा करें, लोगों की उस ज़रूरत को पूरा करें जहां लोग अपने बच्चों को पढ़ाना चाहते हैं। और बिल्कुल स्कूल तो सरकार को शिक्षा समाज ने सरकार को दी थी और सरकार में कहीं ना कहीं भ्रष्टाचार की वजह से या लैक ऑफ इंटरेस्ट या कहीं बहुत सारी वजह है उसमें, पॉलिटिक्स की वजह से ये सफल नहीं हो पाए। और आज दिल्ली में कम से कम मैं कह सकता हूँ, शिक्षा मंत्री होते हुए भी मैं कह सकता हूँ कि लोगों का कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है। लोगों को लगता है कि किसी अच्छे प्राइवेट स्कूल में एडमिशन मिल जाए तो अच्छा है, नहीं मिले तो फिर सरकारी स्कूल में अच्छे में एडमिशन मिल जाए नहीं मिले तो फिर जैसी भी भगवान की मर्जी। अब प्राइवेट स्कूल में एडमिशन लेने के लिए जिस तरह की हालत है, क्योंकि हम दिल्ली के कोने कोने में घूमे चुनाव प्रचार के लिए भी, आंदोलन के लिए भी, और वहाँ लोगों ने सबसे बड़ी बात जो उठाई, कहा साहब प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में, बहुत सारे स्कूल्स में, सारे स्कूल्स में बहुत अच्छी एजुकेशन है ऐसा नहीं है, सारे सरकारी स्कूल खराब हैं ऐसा भी नहीं, बहुत सारे सरकारी स्कूल बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं। ऐसे ही सारे प्राइवेट स्कूल भी सब अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे, कुछ में बहुत सेटिस्फैक्ट्री है तो कुछ में खराब भी होगा। लोगों ने एक बड़ी बात उठाई पूरी दिल्ली में कि साहब प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में हम जाते हैं तो वहाँ फीस को लेके, एडमिशन को लेके इट्स लाइक नाइटमेयर। सरकार को इसमें मदद करनी चाहिए।
So, private schools will say it is a nightmare because there's a shortage of private schools.
बिल्कुल
If
होगा।
there were more government schools, then the entire situation would improve for everybody.
बिल्कुल। तो हम एक तो प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में एडमिशन को लेके प्रोसेसेस बहुत लूज थी कि काफ़ी कुछ प्राइवेट स्कूल के मैनेजमेंट पे, काफ़ी कुछ कोटा, पता नहीं 20% या कितना कोटा होता था, 20% कोटा। तो समाज के लिए स्कूल बने हैं। तो मुझे लगता है हमारे देश में स्कूल को चलाने का जो काम है वो किसी कंपनी को नहीं दिया गया, प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में भी चैरिटी के लिए दिया गया था। तो फीस से लेके एडमिशन तक में सब में ट्रांसपेरेंसी हो और उसका कोई सिस्टम हो। तो जब हमारी सरकार बनी उससे पहले एक एलजी साहब ने एक अच्छी गाइडलाइन बनाई थी, हमने उसको एंडोर्स किया, हमें लगा कि अच्छी गाइडलाइन है, काफ़ी प्रोग्रेसिव है और उसको हमने आगे बढ़ाया। और ये पहला साल है उसका। उस गाइडलाइन में अगर कहीं कुछ कमी लगेगी लोग बताएंगे। देखिए मैं भी जज नहीं हूँ, आप भी जज नहीं है, प्राइवेट स्कूल भी जज नहीं है और सरकारी स्कूल भी जज नहीं है। असली जज तो जनता है, जिनको अपने बच्चे पढ़ाने, हम भी उसका हिस्सा हैं। अगर लगेगा, लोगों को लगेगा साहब सिस्टम बहुत बढ़िया हो गया है, लोग कहेंगे जी बहुत बढ़िया, इसको और लोग कहेंगे साहब इसमें ये वाली कमी है, हम तो सरकार में बैठ के उस कमी को दूर करेंगे।
So we have parents here, so let's talk to them because you know, and we'll have you know we've got 120 questions for you online because we told the audience that you'll be coming in today. We won't keep you for all 120. We've narrowed it down to the 6 most important, most repeated ones. So we have these parents here now. You know, you heard sir saying that schools are made for the samaj, right? But are any of you businessmen? So you're teachers. But as parents, when you go into a business, you do it for a reason. There has to be some incentive. Do you think if the government takes away the management quota, for example, it will reduce an incentive for someone to set up a new school? And then over on long term, the quality of education would come down. One, answer that, and two, raise your question. Did you have a question? You said you're a teacher.
Yeah.
So
I am a teacher in Lancers Convent School, Pitampura. My kids are also studying there. My question is, sir, ki I am in all means I am very satisfied with my school's education system. Everything is very systematic, very disciplined. कुछ problem नहीं है ऐसी. But for if any reason for I want to change the school of my kids. Like I want them to study in say for example modern school Barakhamba or any school which is not within 8 kilometer distance. Then what should I do? Means I feel ki is it the fault of my kids ki they are in this area, they are in Pitampura. But what should I do कि अगर मुझे स्कूल चेंज करना है तो मैं उसके लिए क्या कर सकती हूँ? Just because of this distance criteria ना, I cannot try for those schools only.
Sir, are we creating a system in Delhi where we have advantaged locations and not? It's a great policy on paper. It says that everybody should have access and you shouldn't sit on a bus for an hour and a half every day in this pollution and in this traffic. But we don't have the infrastructure yet in place. So is it a smart solution? Are we jumping the gun? Are we ahead of time?
देखिए इसके सब प्लस माइनस सब हैं।
हाँ जी।
8 किलोमीटर के दायरे में आने वाले पेरेंट्स को जब प्रायोरिटी नहीं दी जा रही थी उस वक्त क्या हो रहा था कि देश के, दिल्ली के किसी भी कोने में बैठे हुए लोग अपनी पहुंच या प्रभाव के चलते या इवन मैं खुल के कह सकता हूं पैसे के चलते दिल्ली के किसी भी अच्छे स्कूल में जिनको अच्छा माना जाता है उसमें एडमिशन ले लेते थे। तो उसका नुकसान ये होता था कि जो आसपास के लोग हैं जो यहाँ रह रहे हैं उनको तो बेचारों को मौका ही नहीं मिलता था। तो इससे उनको फायदा भी हो रहा है। शी इज राइट कि उस बच्चे की गलती नहीं है, उस बच्चे के हाँ तो उसके पॉजिटिव भी हैं।
यहाँ पे मैं भी ऐड करूंगा कि लार्जर गुड के लिए कई बार छोटा गुड जो है ना सेक्रीफाइस किया जाता है।
और मैं एक चीज और कहना चाहता हूँ कि देखिए प्राइवेट स्कूल्स को लेके बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस थे लोगों के और हैं भी, अभी भी हैं। इवन मैं कह सकता हूँ, मैं किसी पर्टिकुलर स्कूल को ब्लेम नहीं करूंगा, जब से मैं शिक्षा मंत्री बना हूँ जितनी संख्या में मेरे पास में गवर्नमेंट स्कूल के टीचर्स आ रहे हैं मैम उतनी ही संख्या में लगभग प्राइवेट स्कूल्स की टीचर्स आ रही हैं और उनकी बहुत सारी ग्रीवेंसेस हैं कि साहब हमारा मैनेजमेंट ये नहीं सुनता, हमारा मैनेजमेंट ये नहीं करता, हमें सैलरी कम दी जाती है, हमारा शोषण, बहुत तरह की चीज़ें। मैं किसी पर्टिकुलर इशू पे नहीं जाऊंगा बिकॉज ये डिबेट अलग चली जाएगी, अभी हम एडमिशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बात कर रहे हैं। पर प्राइवेट स्कूल्स भी, और आपने बिजनेस की बात कही, सवाल बिजनेस का नहीं है, शिक्षा कुल मिला के देखिए, मैं एक सड़क बनाता हूं तो उसमें प्रॉफिट की बात सोच सकता हूं, मैं कुछ भी करता हूं तो उसमें प्रॉफिट, लेकिन शिक्षा शुद्ध रूप से देश के भविष्य के निर्माण का काम है। इसमें प्रॉफिट मेकिंग मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि पाप है।
मनीष जी,
मुझे
इस इंसेंटिव हो सकता है आपसे सर, एक बात
बिल्कुल, मैं बात सुनूंगा।
आप मुझे इजाजत दें बात करने की।
पर शिक्षा में मुझे लगता है कि राष्ट्र के निर्माण का काम है। ये सड़क पे खड़े हुए, सीमा पे खड़े हुए सिपाही, बहुत लोग हैं इस देश में जो शिक्षा को एकदम मिशन की लेके चल रहे हैं, मिशन की तरह लेके चल सकते हैं, तो उनको भी मौका देना चाहिए।